quick video of me, just basically some meat prep and some of the meals that I'm eating throughout the week. So real quickly, take out this chunk. I usually just cook whole chuck like this, or I buy the chuck steaks that are already cut thin. But if I do the cutting and decide to cut my own chuck steaks, this is just kind of how I do it. I just kind of basically take off some slices here. And I don't worry too much about how good of a job I'm doing. I'm just cutting some nice thin things that I'll take out to the grill. And of course, I know many of you probably know that trick basically of putting it in the freezer and go ahead and freezing it. And here's where I will start doing the old finger protection. What I'm going to be eating today. So most of it's just going to go out on the grill, be grilled up nice and thin. So anyway, here I am all done with this. I'm just going to take these out. Nice thin little cuts that are going to fall apart. Grill these up super well. Probably eat most of it just off the grill, and if there's any kind of tougher parts of that, which there's going to be, I know the halves that are going to be better. And maybe throw them in the Instant Pot. I'll see how it goes. So yeah, after cutting that all up, here will be my, I already had a little bit of chuck that was left from 3 days ago, but this will be my meal today. And most likely I'll probably have a few pieces left, but we'll see, maybe not. So here we go, chuck steak. Sometimes I use these cheap food service gloves when I know that I'm doing other stuff like I am right now. So basically I'll just take this, cut this chuck steak in half, and it's partially frozen, so it makes it a little easier to cut. And that's all I do. Then I have two nice steaks, and I'll be dry brining these. And when I do that, I'm basically just going to salt. And when they're this thick, I go ahead and do the sides also. Just going to salt it fairly good. A little bit more than to taste, not much. And I'll put these in the refrigerator for, these ones I'll probably do for 30 hours, I think, by the time I'm going to be eating. And 24 to 48, if they're a full-size chuck, I always tend to go 48. If they're thinner than this, like if I cut them in half again or get them cut to a 1/4 inch, I'll do them for 24. I'll show you one trick I do sometimes. If you have a big chuck like this, rather than trying to get all funny on how you cut it, if you just cut it in half like this, then you have a square side to cut with. And then that way it's pretty easy just to cut that guy down the sleeve. And you don't have to mess with ever, you know, basically anything. Just cut it down there and you've got two nice steaks. And once again, I'll be dry brining these. So this was my Sam's Club haul for the day. So you can see the prices and the pounds there. Couple chuck steaks, couple ribeyes. They don't look bad. They're not like great. They're just, you know, standard. At Sam's Club, my boy and I'll eat one of these each today, one of these each tomorrow. That other pork you saw, I don't know, my boy might eat some like in a burrito. I'll eat some with it. Again, I don't eat pork a lot, but when it's with a steak, I'm okay, and it kind of brings the price of a steak down, and I love the ribeyes. So yeah, like I said, all that's ready to go. Once the two steaks comes off, I'm going to give them more breathing room. I do not want to dry brine them for 24 hours with them touching, because it just, I like the whole thing getting a proper crust. But because I'll be using my thermo pen, and I'll just be basically hitting it up. In my opinion, man, these are the best to have, the instant read thermopens. Worth the money just to get a good one and be done. But yeah, I'll be taking these off, and I usually check them about 110 degrees, and then I pull them. Maldon Salt. The Sam's Club ones are always thinner. I kind of like the Costco ones that are cut thicker, but still a good price. Some people are going to ask how done it is, so it's definitely rare. The other side is my chuck roast. So these guys have been aging for 2 days. Nice and dry. They're going to be awesome. Those are going to go into the sous vide. I'm going to take these thin chuck steaks and I will be grilling those and most likely eating the good parts and then instant potting the rest. So meat day from Sam's Club again. I'll kind of go over this beef chuck roast. So for reference, that amount of cheese that I tend to eat is about 2 ounces. So I'll be eating that with that steak. You can see it's still cool inside. Thermopen. Get a Thermopen. Best pen temp ever. All salted and ready to eat. And again, that gives you an idea. That's pretty much like a blue. So there's what this is looking like on the grill out here. So I forgot to record yesterday's, but it was the exact same thing. 2 pounds of chuck. You can kind of see, I'll take this sometimes on a whole chuck and do the sous vide thing, and then I'll grill it. I'll cut it in half and grill both sides because I do like that. Probably so, yeah. Just over 2 pounds of meat there on the cutting board. Give you an idea with my hand. And 3 1/8 ounce of cheese meal for today. Pretty good sun hitting the chair. Basically, I'll sit here, catch up on a couple videos, and I'll take my shirt off and eat out in the sun. It's now cool enough where I can do that. When it's like 115 here in Arizona, I don't bother sitting out too much. So here we go, all grilled up. Gonna take this inside, cut it into cubes, and put it in the Instant Pot. So today, Friday the 22nd, I'm cooking up 2 chuck steaks. They're frozen. This one is already cut in half. I'm gonna grab my tongs. So because I literally just threw them on here from frozen, they'll basically kind of thaw out a little bit, and then I can cut them in half. And I haven't cooked this side yet, but this is what I'll do is I'll cut them in half, grill up the other side, and then I'm going to cube it up, throw it in the Instant Pot, and some of this won't make the Instant Pot because I'll just keep nibbling on it while I'm cutting it. I didn't get little note here, this thing is like frozen solid still. This is when I forget to take it out and dry brine it that I'll cut it up this way. And you can see when I pick up that middle piece and go to put it on the grill how it's perfectly straight, because that middle piece was again 100% pretty much frozen solid. That's why it was so hard to cut. So my chuck steaks, 2 pork chops. Again, I had a bunch on sale for like $1 something a pound. So I'll eat some pork with steak once in a while, and it kind of brings the cost average down. So yeah, this is looking pretty good, man. This is looking good. So I had some leftover chuck from this morning and decided to pull out a ribeye today out of the freezer. Didn't dry brine it. So all done. Check out the size of that crystal, man. Gives you an idea how big it is. Anyway, that's it. All cut up, ready to eat. Just kind of a fun little thing. We live up back to a nature preserve, and we had a roadrunner that comes into our yard quite a bit.